Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. The dev server has updated, which means there's going to be a bunch of videos looking at different stuff in it, and I thought we would start with an in the files video, because there is a bunch of stuff in the files that isn't on the dev server, which is interesting to chat about. And there's some vehicles, there's obviously a lot of the infantry stuff, which is wandering around as well, and some, what I'm guessing is going to be winter event stuff too, which will be really nice. So in this video, we'll have a look at it all, we'll chat about it and go through it and wait to see what comes out. But as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe and also like the video. Let's get started. The first thing we're having a look at is, well, demonic, I think is probably the word I would use. This is an FPV Kamikaze drone, as it is known in the files. And what it is, as you can see, is a little UAV drone, or just a tiny drone with a battery attached to it, and also quite a large warhead, or an RPG, or something similar. So this would go in, you would hammer it into a vehicle, and it would explode. Now, I'm pretty sure this can actually be flown at the moment, but it doesn't really have any other properties, and I don't really want to talk about it until the infantry stuff is in. It's still unclear whether stuff like the infantry stuff will be on the dev server. Right now, it's only in the files, and that's about it. So, unfortunately, at the moment, I can't really show you too much else about it. And when it all comes available, I'll make sure to make some videos and kind of show you how it's all going to be set up and all of that. On top of this, there is also technically like a reconnaissance drone, but this one is in a way already in the game. So you have the UAV Scout 360, right? And then you also have the standard UAV Scout, which has the different optic on it. And then you have this, which is the UAV Quadcopter. Now, if you've actually played some of the events, you may remember one which is very similar to this, which is the one for the it's the one for the Chinese kind of BMPT thing, which I can't remember the name, the QN506, and shows that more drones and stuff are coming into the game in the infantry part. Also, there are a bunch of infantry guns as well, not just reconnaissance stuff, but a bunch of guns. Unfortunately, I can't really show you them because every time I click on them to show, they break the asset viewer. So I'll just list them for you. For America, we have the M249, the M4A1, M16A4, the MAC-11, the M110A1 SDMR, the SIG XM5, then obviously the FPV Strike UAV-2. For the USSR, we have the PP-19 Bison, the AK-74M, the ASM Val, RPK-74M, SVDM, and also AK-12. Now, what's interesting about all of these guns is they actually have BRs attached to them and also ranks. Some of them are rank 7, other ones are rank 8, and the BRs are from around about 9.7 all the way up to 11.7. So it looks like the guns will have some kind of factor when it comes to the BR and what you're actually going to fight between them, which I think is pretty cool. And people have been asking me how like the research structure for this stuff's going to work. Obviously, we don't know in terms of how it's fully going to work, but if you have a look at Enlisted, if they don't do it like Enlisted, it will be really surprising. So you'll be able to research squads to use, research weapons to use as well, and also research additional abilities for your soldiers, including the use of stuff like FPV Kamikaze drones. There's also some other things that are technically not on the dev server, but are on the dev server, at least for me. We made a video about it earlier, the MiG-25 PT. Sorry, PD, not PT. Now, the PD MiG-25 is one which is an upgraded version of the standard MiG-25, which fixes a lot of stuff that the standard MiG-25 has issues with. It still doesn't turn very well, and it is generally designed to go after bombers, but it's a little bit more useful in terms of War Thunder. It gets access to R60Ms, the all-aspect R60s. It gets the big R40s, a massive radar in the front, and also it gets access to the huge Tamansky engines. One of the things I do actually want to talk about with this vehicle, though, which is really cool, is the cockpit, which I don't know if I'll be able to show you in the asset viewer, but they've fully modeled this cockpit, and it just looks really, really cool. And they've even added curtains to it, which I think is just a nice little addition too. Might actually be able to see it if we just go in from here. But yeah, you can see the actual like curtains on the side of the cockpit up there. So you can actually pull it forward and backwards. Unfortunately, in game, you're not able to, but it's just kind of one of those nice things that is around. So I did a full review on this, chatted about it, so make sure to go check that out. Another thing that's also in the files is the Tosa. Now, the Tosa is an interesting one. You can see here, this is a Japanese battleship, and it has a lot of guns on it. This is part of the Tosa class. Now, the Tosa class is a set of battleships. Only 2 of them were supposed to be constructed and built, but only one of them actually came to fruition. And that's because of the wonderful Washington Naval Treaty, which meant that vehicles like this were just not going to work because they were too big. They were going to be part of a program which was known as the 8-8 Fleet Program, and it just wasn't going to work in terms of what was signed in the Naval Treaty. So instead of this vehicle having access to 5 twin-mounted 410mm guns, which is what you see here, this vehicle, the Tosa, was actually converted into an aircraft carrier, which is pretty cool. And the second vehicle, which was around the place, actually, no, sorry, my bad. I got it the wrong way around. So the Tosa was mostly built, but it never got finished. So they just ended up kind of ditching it, where the Kaga, which was the sister ship of the Tosa, that one was converted into an aircraft carrier instead, which is pretty cool. So that's where the Kaga aircraft carrier comes from, and the Tosa is the, I suppose, the original idea for both of those machines. So this vehicle would have access, as I said, to the 410s. You can see 2 sets of turrets here, 3 on the back. It also has 20 single-mounted 140s, which you can see all along these areas here, which is something that is very similar to a lot of other machines built in the kind of 1920s era, which is where these things were built, which is kind of cool. It also has some smaller guns on it. You can see here some little boys, which they're not really going to do anything. It does also have access to some torpedo tubes, which are on the vehicle too, and also a massive rangefinder on the gun there. Well, I'm guessing it's a rangefinder. But since this is a 1920s battleship, there's really not too much going on with it. You know, it's very similar compared to a lot of the other vehicles that are around. And then you have the engine bays, you have also all of the fuel that's on board, and the big ammo elevators designed for these massive guns, which are there. You can also see the torpedo tubes that we talked about before in the back. There is also another vehicle, which is kind of sat in the files too. This is a little bit harder to show. So you know the H-75s, which are around? These are, of course, very fun vehicles. They're in quite a few tech trees. You have access to the French ones, such as the H-75A1, which is right here. You also have access to a Finnish one, which I believe was part of a World War mode setup, where you could actually get it for the vehicle. You even have a British one, the H-75A4, which has been sat here for a while. Well, guess what? There's now a H-75M. This is one which is designed for China, and this is kind of its camo, so you can see what it's going to be. So it looks like we're going to get a H-75M as well. Now, I think when it comes to the Tosa, and then also when it comes to this H-75, these are probably going to be the winter event vehicles on top of the MiG-25. So all we're looking for is the ground vehicle in terms of what that could be, and I'm sure we'll find out soon. Maybe it'll be an infantry, or maybe it'll be something else. Who knows at the end of the day what is possible. So yeah, that's all the stuff that is in the files on the dev server. As always, there will be a bunch of videos coming out with a bunch of different stuff. So yeah, it'll be an enjoyable time as always. Look after yourselves. Peace be with you. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecovo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.